it reveals the naked essence of altruism, that it's not actually about lifting up the supposed poor, needy. It's a target. The target of altruism is that the successful, the prosperous, the productive are one, ashamed of what they've done and should be sacrificed, destroyed, eliminated. That's the real animus, and you see it over and over again. But it's most clear, I think, in foreign policy. The stakes are high; they're life and death, and there's clear good and clear evil in foreign policy, and the whole attitude towards Iran in regard it's so we've talked a little bit about Yemen, Syria, the attitude towards Iran, that you would not view this as a vicious regime that is destroying its own people. That's what every dictatorship, every totalitarian system does. The first victims are its own civilian population. And then it usually has to go to war with surrounding countries. This is a point that Ayn Rand made, and it's we can think of it in terms of the supposed today anti-war protesters, but it's a point she made about the anti-war protesters in the 60s. If you're not against dictatorship, you're not against war. A dictatorship is at war, and literally at war with its own people. And if that doesn't bother you, and one of the ways Ayn Rand put it is like if so it's a war where one side is legally disarmed. The civilian population, if you think in Iran, is legally disarmed, and they're terrorized by their own government. That it's a civil war in the sense that, well, one side has won and has had all the power, but it's literally at war with its own citizens. And if that doesn't bother you, then you're not anti-war. The idea that Israel can't do anything against other countries, but we couldn't care less what Iran does to its own citizens, its own civilian population. And again, like, where are the protests in regard to Iran? And if you think, like, there's been heroic protest demonstrators in Iran demanding more freedom and freedom from the religious totalitarianism. Where were these protesters on campuses today supporting those people in Iran? They don't care. And this is in the hearings. There's a professor at Columbia who published something pro the Hamas and pro the attacks on, I think, October 8th, the day after the attack on Israel. This is what he said about Iran in the article. Iran has neither been responsible for the murder of millions around the world, nor for colonizing or occupying the lands of others. And in the article, like, America and France are worse than Iran. And completely unmentioned is Iran has murdered and terrorizes millions of its own population. And that, we don't care at all about that. And that is revealing of do they care about the needy, the poor, or is it what they want to destroy is America, France, Israel? That, like, if they accomplish that, then they've succeeded in getting to what they're after. And that is the viewpoint. And you have to face it's enormously evil, but you can't whitewash the viewpoint that they care about the needy, the poor, and so on. What they're after is destroying free countries.